And in my final act as chair of the AZM, it is my pleasure to introduce and welcome our incoming chair, who was elected this morning, Shoshana Dweck.
Hi all, I'm Shoshana Dweck, she, her pronouns, and I guess I'm the new board chair of AZM. I also serve as a WZO representative on the Jewish Agency Executive, so it's a special pleasure that my first official AZM duty is to introduce Mark Wilf, Chair of the Board of Governors of the Jewish Agency for Israel. The Jewish Agency Board is composed of 50% WZO, 30% JFNA Federation, and 20% Keren HaYesod worldwide. Jaffe also has a North American board, Jaffe North America, or JAFINA. We recently, as AZM, have been building stronger bridges between JAFINA and AZM. We live in the same North American communities and share the same commitment to Zionism and to Israel's national institutions. At the recent Jewish Agency Board of Governors meeting in Jerusalem, we held a joint reception between AZM and JAFINA, and we look forward to more crossover, connection, and collaboration. Mark Wilf is an attorney, real estate developer, philanthropist, and an extraordinary and dedicated Jewish communal leader and a champion of Israel. With roots in New Jersey and the Metro West Federation, he has deep connections also to Minnesota and Orlando through the magic of sports. He even wore custom shoes supporting the hostages and standing against anti-Semitism in 2023 as part of the NFL's My Cause, My Cleats program. Mark exemplifies the lifelong leadership pipeline we hope to cultivate. Issue-focused work, such as Holocaust remembrance, paired with long-standing service in collective bodies that span from UJA Young Leadership Cabinet Chair to JFNA Chair of the Board of Trustees to his current role guiding the Jewish Agency. He recently oversaw the agency's new strategic plan and the restructuring of its committee system, and it is our honor to welcome Mark Wilf to the AZM Biennial.
Thank you, Shoshana, for those kind words and your introduction. And good afternoon, everyone. Good to see you all. It is indeed an honor to speak at the American Zionist Movement's Biennial National Assembly, an organization whose leadership, commitment, and advocacy continue to strengthen our people at a moment when it matters more than ever. The partnership between AZM and the Jewish Agency for Israel is rooted in a shared purpose, ensuring a strong Israel and a united Jewish future. Today, that shared future feels especially urgent. We are living through one of the most consequential chapters in modern Jewish history. October 7 changed Israel. It changed the Jewish world, and it changed each and every one of us. In the aftermath, we saw a level of unity that reminded us of who we are at our best. One people, bound together by responsibility and by a commitment to one another that transcends distance and ideology. That unity was not abstract, it was lived. It was real. It was Jews around the world standing with families in Israel in their darkest hours, and Israelis standing with Jewish communities facing rising attacks and hostility. Looking ahead, we are in a new era, an era of rebuilding. As strong organizations, we have the privilege and responsibility to work together for the good of Israel and the global Jewish people, whether that means strengthening the resilience of victims of terror, supporting families who've endured unimaginable trauma, building programs that connect Israelis and global Jews, helping communities in the Gaza envelope return home, or investing in the next generation through immersive Israel experiences that deepen Jewish pride and identity. None of this can succeed alone. Together, the Jewish Agency and AZM are building the bridges that hold our people together. Israel and diaspora Jews, learning from one another, showing up for one another, and shaping a shared future rooted in partnership. So today, on behalf of the Jewish Agency for Israel, I want to express my deep appreciation for AZM's leadership, ongoing partnership, and unwavering commitment to Zionism, Jewish peoplehood, and the future we are building together. By bringing together many visions towards one shared dream, you strengthen not only the American Jewish community, but our connection to Israel and the global Jewish people. We have a long road of rebuilding ahead, but I believe profoundly in our capacity to rise to this moment because we are doing it biyachad, together, and because the unity we saw in the days after October 7th reminds us that when the Jewish people stand as one, there is no limit to what we can build and rebuild. It is now my honor and pleasure to introduce Mark Levenson, a true pillar of the American Jewish community and a tireless advocate for Israel. For more than 4 decades, Mark has combined professional excellence with dedicated volunteer leadership, serving in key roles across national, state, and local Jewish organizations. From his work with federations, the Anti-Defamation League, and Jewish educational institutions, to his service on numerous Israel-focused global boards, including the Executive Committee of the Jewish Agency, Mark has consistently strengthened the connection between American Jewry and Israel, the State of Israel. Mark's leadership is guided by both deep commitment and practical impact, bridging communities, advancing Israel advocacy, and fostering Jewish pride across generations. I am proud to call Mark a friend, a fellow resident of New Jersey, a true tireless Zionist and advocate for Israel, the State of Israel, and the Jewish people. Am Yisrael Chai, Kol HaKavod to you, Mark. Congratulations.
It's me, Mark Levenson. I am honored and touched to stand before you today to introduce my father, Mark Stephen Levenson, as he is installed as president of the American Zionist Movement. It feels especially meaningful that this gathering follows the Torah portion in which we first encountered the name Israel. In Parshat Vayishlach, Yaakov, Jacob, wrestles through the night with an angel. He refuses to let go until he receives a blessing, and he is told his name will also be Israel, Yisrael, because he has struggled with God and with man and has prevailed. From the beginning, the name Israel teaches that struggle is part of our story, but resilience and triumph are our destiny. During the fight, the angel dislocates Yaakov's hip, giving rise to the mitzvah not to eat the Gid Hanasha sciatic nerve. It seems unusual that we mark a victory by refraining from eating something. Usually, the way things go with Jewish victories, as we know from the holidays we celebrate, is they tried to kill us, we won, now let's eat. So how come we specifically don't eat the Gid Hanasha? The answer is found in the verse right before the encounter. Vayevater Yaakov levad. Yaakov was left alone. It was only because he was alone that he was vulnerable. This is an important message for all of us. When we stand alone, we are exposed. But when we stand together, united across organizations, politics, and religious backgrounds, we are strong. Not one Jew alone, not one mission or one group alone, but all of us together supporting and defending Israel, exactly what the AZM is all about. And who better to help unite this diverse community than my dad, Mark Levenson? My father has spent decades in leadership roles in Israel-related and Jewish communal affairs. He is the longtime chair or co-chair of the New Jersey Israel Commission and spends endless time giving advice to Israeli startups and small companies trying to get a foothold in New Jersey and in New York. Nationally and globally, he serves on the Executive Committee of the Jewish Agency for Israel, on the Presidium of the World Zionist General Council, and in senior leadership roles with the Religious Zionists of America and Teach New Jersey. He has served as chair of the Zionist Organization of America, as president of the New Jersey State Association of Jewish Federations, as president of the Jewish Federation of Greater Clifton Passaic, and on the board of governors of Tel Aviv University. And prior to his nomination as president, he served as vice president of AZM. Throughout his career, he has helped strengthen United States-Israel relations, supported Jewish communal institutions, and advanced key Zionist priorities. As a teenager, I remember hearing him spend countless hours on calls about the boycott, divestment, and sanctions movement. I wondered what he thought he could accomplish. He's a lawyer from New Jersey, not a politician. But all of that effort mattered. He played a significant role in the enactment of New Jersey's landmark anti-BDS legislation, which we now see more clearly than ever was crucial to have in place long before October 7th, as BDS proposals continue to pop up across the country. Over the past 20 years, he has also worked tirelessly to strengthen the New Jersey-Israel trade relationship. His efforts helped increase the value of trade between the two to an average of nearly $1.8 billion annually in recent years. He was also incredibly proud of his work, which after almost 10 years led to the signing in Tel Aviv of the Rutgers University Tel Aviv University Memorandum of Understanding in 2021. Israel work is not the only place where my dad's heart is invested. Almost 10 years ago, our family faced a heartbreaking tragedy when my brother Eric passed away. My parents were determined to create something positive in his memory, and they founded the Eric Eliezer Levenson Foundation for Hope. The foundation brings mental health awareness and programming to schools, communities, and families. To experience a loss like we did and still choose to help others is a testament to my parents' strength. Of course, all of this sits alongside what it was like to grow up as the daughter of Mark Levenson. It meant that on any given day, there was a 50% chance he was in another state or country. It meant knowing early on that Boston sports were your birthright and that you would get to attend more championship games than most people dream of, and that your firstborn would almost be named Brady. Most of all, it meant growing up with a model of what it means to live with purpose. My sister Hadassah and I never needed verbal explanations about work ethic. We watched it every day. And now, even with everything he juggles, my dad still finds time to visit my home once a week to put my kids to sleep, goes to Philadelphia monthly to see my sister's kids, and FaceTimes with all of his grandchildren multiple times a week. He lives the idea that you make time for what matters. Hadassah and I are proud to follow in his footsteps. We show our love for Israel through our own volunteer work, advocacy, charitable efforts, and attempts to spend as much time in Israel as possible. And yes, each of us named one of our children after Theodore Herzl, whose legacy we celebrate today. Dad, your becoming president of the American Zionist Movement brings great honor to our family. We are so proud of you. Please welcome Mark Levenson.
Thank you, Jessica. That's our baby. Thank you, Jessica, for that very sweet and moving and special introduction. I love you and can't wait for baby girl Mirsky to arrive later this week. It'll be our second granddaughter, God willing, and it'll be our seventh grandchild, and we can't wait her arrival. I can't say enough about my daughter Jessica, or also my beautiful daughter Hadassah, who is also here today. God has granted Ita and me, Ita's my wife, God has granted Ita and me many, many blessings, not only with Hadassah and Jessica, but along with our late beloved son, Eric Eliezer, who left us way too prematurely 10 years ago. But perhaps the most important of all our blessings are our beautiful 6 grandchildren, soon to be 7th. And we thank God every day for these blessings. Ita, I would just like to express, that's you, I would just like to express my sincere appreciation, gratefulness to Ita, my beloved partner and best friend who continues to support me in all my endeavors. Ita is my sounding board on all major decisions that are relevant to our family. Whatever I have achieved over these years is due in large part to her support and her encouragement. Whenever people ask me what is the secret to a good marriage, I say very easy. Go marry Anita. Mark Wilf, I'm honored by your presence here today. You got a busier schedule than anyone I know. The Vikings did win last night. The Vikings, by the way, are now my second favorite football team after the Patriots for a while now. Mark, thank you for that wonderful introduction. We know each other now over 30 years. It's hard to believe we were once young. It's hard to believe we were once in the Young Leadership Program at the New Jersey Jewish Federation Young Leadership Program in the 1990s. And I must tell you, in the secrecy and privacy of all my friends here, I have over the years reached out to Mark on many occasions for sensitive issues relating to matters in the Jewish community in various avenues, and he never fails. If he can help, he will. If he can introduce you to someone, he will. And I thank you, and I value our friendship and treasure our friendship. I also would say your late father, as well as, of course, your mother, God bless, she's still with us, survivors, your father, your uncle, your mother, the entire Holocaust survivor community is so proud of everything you and your family do. President Herzog obviously is not with us right now. And again, on behalf of AZM, I do apologize. I know some of you were not able to get in. The fire marshals and building and police, they kind of control. And so I apologize for those that were not able to get in. It was clearly not our intention. President Herzog did speak beautifully this morning. And all of you who had the opportunity to hear him understand what a true and inspirational leader he is for the state of Israel. He and his late father, the 6th president of Israel, he being the 11th, have a legacy of service and support to our community going on 50 years of the Zionism is Racism resolution. We all remember the instrumental role President Herzog Sr. played, and I am sure President Chaim Herzog is very, very proud of all that his son is doing. Ita and I happened to be in Prague earlier this year, and we went to the wonderful Altanoid Shul in Prague, the oldest synagogue from the 1200s in world history, and it was so touching to see side-by-side plaques in the lobby there commemorating the visits of both Chaim Herzog and Bougie Yitzchak Herzog in the Prague synagogue. And it just is unbelievable. Rav Doron Perez, I assume he's sitting here somewhere. If not, we can relay this to him later on. Rav Doron Perez, I first met Rav Doron 4 years ago, thereabouts. Appreciated his remarks yesterday. Rav Doron and I first met when we were introduced, and we started talking about working together on the World Mizrahi effort in the World Zionist Congress elections. And Rav Herzog, Rav Doron, is just an unbelievable person. We obviously met and worked together carefully before the tragedy that befell his hero son, Captain Daniel Perez, who unfortunately some of us saw at 2 funerals that the family, he and Shelley, and Jonathan and his 2 daughters had to live through. And Rav Doron has been a measure of strength and character throughout that. He is a credit. He is a credit to World Zionist Organization. He is a credit to World Mizrahi. We are very, very grateful for the leadership roles he played. We do share a mutual sense of loss and tragedy, which we did bond over, but we are blessed and privileged here at the World Zionist Organization, AZM, and World Mizrahi to have Rav Doron as our leader, and we are so much looking forward to his service the next 5 years. I would like to say something that I personally think is a character trait in common between President Herzog, Mark Wilf, and Rav Doron, and that is the notion or the nature of a nav. A nav, which means modesty or humbleness. It was the greatest trait of Moshe Rabbeinu, Moses, our biblical leader. And Moshe had that in abundance. And it's not just humble or modest, it's kind of the essence of the whole person. And I submit to you, with both President Herzog, who was here earlier, Mark Wilf, Rav Daron, this is a character that really is through and throughout their whole being. And that's what helps make them great Jewish leaders, and we all benefit by their leadership and their presence. Yaakov Chagoel, my dear friend Yaakov Chagoel, I can't see where and who is here right now with some of the lights, but Yaakov Chagoel, I have known Yaakov now going back to the previous World Zionist Congress elections and the campaign going up to it. And I'm proud to tell you I love Yaakov Hagoel. Yaakov Hagoel is a good friend, and we are going to count on his friendship and more as we move forward in our efforts here over the next 4 years. And Yaakov Hagoel, by the way, he not only is returning as World Zionist Organization chair, which he really did a terrific job the previous 5 years. He also, in the Byzantine world of Jewish agencies and national institutions, Yaakov also, and Mark had to live through this, Yaakov also served a dual role for over a year as acting Jewish agency chair and World Zionist Organization chairman. And he did a fantastic job. It was also, I think, on the tail end of COVID. And so, Yaakov, we're blessed that you'll be with us for at least the first half of the term, and who knows what the future will bring, as Israeli politics have all shown us. Deborah Isaac and Michael Laufer, you two, the two of you, have done a fantastic job. You and the rest of the departing leadership of our AZM. You've done a terrific job over the last, as Debbie likes to say, 4.5 years. You have been a fantastic team, and you've made the organization better. You've gifted Shoshana and I a really organization that's just primed to move, and we thank you both. We thank all the exiting leaders. And on a really very personal note, I must tell you, your conveyance of your ideas and the spirit and the time we've spent together on transition-related matters over the last month, deeply, deeply appreciated, and I thank you for that. Rhoda Smolo. I love Rhoda Smolo. Rhoda, as some of you may have heard, was chairwoman of the nominations committee here at AZM. And, we are a balanced organization. We're an umbrella organization. We're going to continue to do that. That's what we're going to do. We're not going to be the World Zionist Congress. We're going to be the AZM. Rhoda, our deepest and my personal deepest thanks for your terrific and tremendous efforts and stewardship, the whole nominating committee, but especially you. You created a balanced team of leadership that any organization would be proud of. And I want to note for the record that notwithstanding what we see at the highest levels of World Zionist Organization leadership, I am succeeding a female president. My chair is a female. All 5 of our vice presidents are female, and they constitute a majority of the offices on our board. I am especially looking forward to working with my good friend Shoshana. Where are you? Shoshana Dweck. She and I have bonded as well with my wife Ita over the years of travel on Jaffe missions and programs and events. And I'm really excited the partnership we're going to have. Great choice, Rhoda, and the nominating committee. And really thank you, Rhoda Smola, one of the superstar ladies of Hadassah. Herbert, no one needs to know Herbert's last name. Shana, Avishai, and Ariella. Acharon Chaviv. For those that don't speak Irish, that means last but not least. We at AZM cannot thank you enough for what you have done over the last 18 months, not only with the World Zionist Congress elections, not only with this biennial, but with everything else that goes on with this organization. Couldn't be prouder and happier with all your efforts. I look forward to working with you even more closely going forward. Now, I know Herbert may be a little bit disappointed and surprised that I'm able to keep up with his hours. But, you know, Herbert, get used to it. Herbert and I, though, we've had a lot of fun this first month and a half, month or so, and I really very much look forward to working with Herbert and the rest of the team going forward. We are in a very tumultuous time period right now. During this biennial, we've heard a lot, as we all lived through October 7th, the horrifics of October 7th, and we can't thank Hashem, God, enough for the miracles that we have experienced, both in October 7th and coming out of October 7th. I recently read the New York Times bestseller book, Hostage, by Elie Sharabi. I'm sure most of you have. I also had the privilege, this last Thursday night in New Jersey to attend his packed house talk to the Metro West Federation and expanded New Jersey community in Short Hills. And the words that he spoke, I can't put into words. You read his book and you'll know what the hostages went through. But what I took away, not only did I take away what the hostages suffered from, the hunger, the torture, the fear, the continuing not knowing whether they were going to wake up the next day. Beyond that, we also took away the fact that the simplicities of life that they did not have during their periods of imprisonment, the rain that people don't like but feels great over your face, seeing the sky, seeing the sunshine, smelling the food, fresh cooked food, seeing the bustle in the street, being hugged by a loved one. The hostages did not have that for all their period of time. So we should all be grateful to Hashem God for the daily blessings we have and the daily miracles of life that we all experience. October 7th, as we all well know, was one of the darkest days in Jewish history, and certainly the date on which more Jews died than on any day since the Holocaust. The Israeli government, and we love them, the IDF, we really love them, and all the citizenry of Israel, and the intelligence services, not the citizenry, but the IDF, the government, and the intelligence services, there is no question there were very, very serious failures, not only that day, but leading up to that day. And there will be, and there are, and there will be investigations, and we'll figure out how to do it better, and hopefully we will learn the lessons of 67 and 73 so it won't repeat. But what went on those days, if it were not for the bravery of the IDF and citizenry, it could have been much worse. Hamas did not want to stop with 1,200 victims, murder victims. They did not want to stop with 251 hostages. Hamas's goal was to bifurcate Yehuda and Shomron, take tens of thousands of hostages, kill tens of thousands of Israelis, and it was only through the bravery in response of the IDF, citizenry, and Hashem that we did not suffer more than we did. And so I do want to acknowledge that. I also want to acknowledge some other minor miracles that we take for granted. Iran, okay? And by the way, when the Prime Minister asked the IDF and intelligence services, how many hostages do you think will come back? 200, they didn't know it was 251 then. The Prime Minister asked the intelligence and IDF, how many hostages are going to return? And the answer was likely none. 250 hostages have returned, 168 alive, and of course we have one deceased hostage, police officer Givley, and we hope in speedily, maybe today, maybe tomorrow, he will return. So we again thank God for those miracles. Iran, again, the Prime Minister asked, how many civilians, how many Israeli citizens do you think will be killed during any conflict with Iran? Because they knew it was coming. And the answer came back 3,000 to 4,000. And with God's help and the IDF's brilliance and strategy and planning, 28 civilians died. It's 28 too many. We regret the loss of each and every one of them, but it could have been so much more. So again, we thank God for that. These are miracles of biblical proportions, and hopefully we will not have to face these issues again. I am humbled and honored and privileged to accept your election of me and our slate to office earlier this morning. I very much look forward to the challenges ahead that we face, and I know that with our A team of people, we can succeed. AZM is full of veteran and accomplished leaders who you see around the room, and also, as you see around the room, a lot of youthful and exuberant talent. Together with them and our whole team, I know we will achieve many of the things we want to do. Zionism. We all here in this room, we have an unbelievable opportunity to make a difference here on the issue of Zionism here at AZM, but we also have a very, very difficult challenge. Unfortunately, really unfortunately, Zionism has become tarnished over the last several years. Zionism is no longer universally considered positive and aspirational. Regrettably and unfairly, Zionism is viewed in a negative context by way too many people. It's even used as a slur. President Herzog told us the last time we saw him, Zios. I didn't even know that. This is what they call us now, Zios. They don't even want to use all 8 letters when you're typing on social media. It's become, in some avenues and way too many areas, a slur. So we have a very, very tough job ahead of us. Zionism in many circles is viewed now as negative, and it's protested, and we're hated, and we're marched against. And of course, this is vile and outrageous. I give you Exhibit A, Park East Synagogue, a week ago Thursday night. But what is Zionism? Zionism is the advocating for the establishment and preservation of a Jewish state in the ancient, indigenous, and ancestral homeland of the Jewish people. The Jewish people have an inalienable right to their own national Jewish homeland. It is not something that anyone has a right to deny us, and it is not the right of anyone to tell us what we can or can't do with our national Jewish homeland. This is what the great Theodor Herzl intended and planned for when he gathered the Zionist leadership in Basel in 1897, and none of us were there then. It was the first Zionist Congress in 1897, and it's repeated itself periodically every few years until the one we just came out of it. As Herzl famously wrote and said, "If you will it, it is no dream." Herzl's dreams were realized after his death, but they were realized. Someone pointed out today, he wrote in 50 years, and it was 49 years, I guess, or 51 years. Israel has become a beacon and shining light to the world since its founding in 1948, and it will continue to be so for as long as we live and well beyond that. How the ideals of Zionism have been turned over their head over the last few decades is something, as President Herzog said earlier today, is something that historians will be writing about for a very, very long time. It is clear, however, that our narrative of Zionism has been turned upside down in an Orwellian fashion over the last many years. Our enemies have been winning, and although it is easy to just blame Qatari money, it isn't that simple. Our enemies have had a well-planned and thought-out game plan, and they have executed almost to perfection over the last couple years. We have to respond. We have to respond more forcefully than we have. We have to really understand the full extent of the problem. And although October 7th wakened up a lot of us, it didn't do the job strong enough and comprehensive enough, and it's our job to do that. I believe our primary goal at AZM over the next 4 years is the proactive and intense promotion of Zionism and Zionist education. We've talked about that. I've met and spoke to every living past president of AZM. I've spoken to all our officers. I've spoken and met with most of the party factions. I met with Rav Daron. I met with Mark Wilf. I met with Yaakov Hagoel. AZM is critical to that effort. There is no easy solution, but AZM is critical to the active promotion of Zionism and Zionist education. And I really want to go over, and it'll be almost the wrap-up, I'm going to go over the 5 task forces that we look to create starting tomorrow. And, in fact, or maybe today at our board meeting after this. And I will say, by the way, although there are 5 task forces, they really all are geared around the promotion of Zionism, refurbishing the good name of Zionism, and creating proactive Zionist education that speaks to all different streams and ideas. What works in Williamsburg is not going to work in the Bay Area. We know that at AZM, and we're going to work to try to fix it. There are many wonderful organizations that fight anti-Semitism, and AZM fights anti-Semitism also. But we believe we should be the address for promoting Zionism and Zionist education, and that's what we intend on doing. The 5 task forces, the first and primary one is the Zionist Education and Zionism Task Force. This is of incredible importance to us. We have identified, and I have spoken to leaders from the left, the right, and the center who will be vice chairs of this committee. We will meet very shortly. We will continue the meetings we've started with WZO, my good friend Yaakov Hagoel. We had a working dinner the other night with Ifat Ovadia and her Director General at KKL. There is much that can be done there. We know that we will hopefully be getting more money in the budget for the federations, not the so-called Jewish federations, the Zionist federations across the world. We are hopeful we'll get more money. We obviously need more money. Without getting more money and hiring education professionals with Zionism in their DNA, we're not going to be able to do it. We're all wonderful people here. We're all wonderful lay leaders. In order to try to promote Zionism, to create Zionist programming and educating from high schools, even Orthodox day schools. It's amazing what I sometimes hear from Orthodox day school students. Colleges, JCCs, communities. It's not going to get done in 3 months. It's not going to get done in 6 months. But with the resources, AZM can be the vehicle to promote Zionism and promote good, positive Zionist education across the board. And we look forward to the partnership that we'll have with the WZO, KKL, and Jewish Agency, and everyone here. The second task force, which they're all critical, but they all reach around the same thing, is youth and outreach. Now, youth and outreach, 2 halves of the committee. The first, youth. We've been privileged at AZM and WZO in the election campaign this year for the Congress, which we expanded 22 slates ran this year instead of the 15. We had record voter turnout. We hope to have even greater record turnout 5 years from now. But we mandate that 25% of our slates be youth. Now, when we put these slates together, and we also mandate that 40% of the slates be women. When we put these slates together, we all sit there and spend endless hours, we're going to get this youth and that. But at the end of the day, we have 25% youth in each of these slates. Many of them are here today. And so we have a strong head start, more than many other Jewish organizations, in terms of kind of activating our youth who are critical to resonate with the rest of the youth. I can't resonate with the youth out there who are anti-Zionist, but we need our youth to do so. And they've had their own separate program here. They met separately with President Herzog, and I'm really so delighted with what we've created with our youth here. We will be inviting the youth not only in this task force, but also every task force committee we're creating. The second half of that task force is outreach, and I mean outreach in the widest sense. I'm not going to go through all the ethnicities and character descriptions, et cetera, but we have a job to do. Many of our allies who we counted on abandoned us on October 7th. We weren't happy about that. We're bitter about it, but we have to kind of turn the cheek, and we have to re-engage our old allies, and we have to engage new allies who we haven't yet met or know about. And we're going to do that with our outreach committee. And again, each one of these task forces is going to have a leader from the left, center, and right. We've identified many of them, and we're very, very excited about that committee. The third task force is social media, communications, rapid response, and PR. Again, not an area of my expertise. We will end up having to hire a professional for this, but we need to have people who understand the world of TikTok and all this other stuff that I don't understand. I mean, I'm on my phone all day, but I'm not doing TikTok. We need to do a much better job at Hasbara. I understand there's been a lot of criticism over the years of the Israeli government and Jewish organizations on the Hasbara front. Hasbara meaning the promotion of Israel viewpoints and ideas and policies. And I have been very late in coming to the table and accepting the criticism of the Israeli Hasbara. But there's no question that we have not done nearly as good a job as we could. So we will have our PR social media committee. We've already identified folks for that, and I'm really very, very excited for that. So we're going to need to hire professionals for our social media. We're going to need to hire one or more professionals as educators with Zionism in their DNA. And then the last professional we're going to look to hire, not on day one, we're going to have to make the case for it, but the next professional we're going to have to hire, our fourth task force, is development. We're not going to get to where we want to without development. And so we're going to need a development professional. We can't put all this on Herbert Block and the rest of our staff. We're going to need to hire a development professional. We're not going to raise dues in the organizations, at least on year one. We're not going to raise board membership dues. We've already done a little bit of that. I'm not going to push further. We've got to get more resources in so we can meet and these goals and objectives. We're going to go back to the well with my friend Yaakov Hagoel and at WZO very often, maybe even my friend at the Jewish Agency, and anywhere we can go to get some more resources. We're going to need these professionals because AZM is a way to get the Zionist education and programming off the ground. The last and final task force is one that some of our dearest AZM leaders are very, very interested in, and that is election review and election reform. Our fifth and final task force here will be election review and election reform. There's no question that the World Zionist elections and the area election committee that AZM coordinated and ran over the last 18 months could have been done in a much more efficient manner, both resource-wise and time-wise. It certainly is a theme from anyone who sat on the area election committee. So we also have spoken to and identified 3 people from the left, the center, and the right who are very, very committed to focusing on this. We'll kick off that task force pretty soon, and we know that we can really help contribute to that, not only to make the election process more efficient, but also to help put the guardrails in place so that the next election, after Shoshana and I are gone, after the next election, the guardrails will be in place so we'll have a terrific and wonderful election in the year 5 years from now. We do have coming up in 3 years Israel's 80th anniversary. We're going to celebrate that big time. Rav Doron Perez has made it one of his hallmark ideas that we should be celebrating in depth all these significant national Jewish holidays and occurrences, and we will be doing so. And we know that the WZO will help contribute to that effort. But so get it going. We're going to have all our organizations involved, and we're going to make the 80th birthday of Israel the biggest bash ever. So in summary, I want to thank you all for your support. I want to thank you all for your attendance here. I want to thank you all for your past, your current, and your future support and engagement. We can make Zionism great again. We can make Zionism the apple of everyone's eye. We can make Zionists walk down the street, as President Herzog said before in the Israeli Day Parade, wearing their "I'm proud I'm a Zionist" t-shirt. That's what we're going to do. That's what we're going to try to do over the next 4 years. We can make Zionism great again. So may God bless us. May God bless the state of Israel. May God bless the United States of America. May God bless the Jewish communities worldwide. and all those who love and strive for peace. Thank you very, very much.